Now in its 10th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, live from Harlem in New York City. Yeah, it's Alex, and it's the Ramble. Ladies and gentlemen, over there, it's Albert Reynoso.
Hi.
Hi, Albert. How you doing, pal?
Good, thank you.
You doing okay?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah. All right. Okay. And I'm trying to see here. Do you hear my air conditioning at all?
I hear some kind of breezy sounding, like a very low, but no, I don't hear.
Oh, you don't hear it? Oh, okay.
Not bad.
I've got this new control board. It's a new mixer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Rode mixer,
Yeah.
and it's just spectacular. But there's so many things you have to set. You know.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
anyway, yeah.
How many inputs and outputs? Tell me all
How
about
many
it.
how many inputs and outputs I got? I don't know. 6.
6.
Yeah.
Oh, I got 10 over here.
Really? Yeah, but you don't have what I got.
Which is what?
Well, I can't show you unless I move the camera. I can move the camera and I can show you.
Tell me what it is. You can tell me.
Wait a minute. Here, hold on a second. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh,
Let
you're
me-
losing your green screen. Oh, man.
Let me see here. Where is it?
People are going to know the secret.
Oh, there it is.
Wizard.
See?
Oh, that's very nice. Oh, you have buttons. Yeah, I have some of those too. I never use them.
Yeah, this is very good. Anyway, let me.
Playback. I have 6 playback buttons. Never use them. Never will.
You have 6 playbacks?
You know, instant replay buttons.
Oh, really? Yeah, I have. Well, I have a whole bunch of buttons, and I can program as many as I need to program on it.
Isn't that great? Technology is
Yeah,
phenomenal.
but you know, I mean, I got.
Alex Bennett is still alive?
See?
Yeah, but he didn't make it, did he?
Huh?
You're still here, but he didn't make it.
He didn't make it. No. No.
Yeah.
So anyway, you know.
Well, that's nice. New toys for Alex.
Yeah, new toys for Alex. Anyway, so and you don't notice anything else.
I noticed that you have a very close shave on the head, and you are missing the little goatee part
That's
of your,
right.
Your beard.
That's right.
Mustache is still there. Have I noticed everything now? Is that good? Am I aware of everything now?
Yeah, I guess you are.
Okay, good.
Okay. So.
All right, see you later.
Okay. Let me see. How do I have? I have to see here if I have. Oh, here. That's what's wrong. The processing isn't on the mic. Wait a minute. No, it's off now. Now and then now it's on.
You'll be sure to let me know how many people will be tuned into this very interesting conversation we're having.
Well, I can't figure out.
Because I wouldn't be, I know that.
Huh?
I wouldn't be listening to this at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good for you. There we go. I just got rid of the background noise.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, I feel great now.
Good.
Well, this is
good.
what happens when you get a new piece of equipment. You got to learn how to use it.
But why? I don't understand. We have AI. You should just tell the AI.
You know what it is? Yeah,
I'm going to use the microphone.
I agree with you. There should be one button I push and it sets everything.
Well, my mixer has that. I can set all the parameters. I can set maybe 6 different programs, customized programs for different ways.
Oh, yeah, I can do that too.
Of course you can.
Yeah, and it also, but this is a noise gate that I had to set to keep the background noise from showing up. Now you don't hear it anymore, right?
I know what it is. It's my fans on my computer that I hear. That's what I hear. No, I don't hear anything on your end. I didn't hear any gulping just now or any sloshing of the soda.
Anyway, so here's what happened with my beard. Okay? So the other day I'm in the bathroom and I'm shaving.
Uh-huh.
And I've got, you've got the on the shaver, you know this. You have a guard you put on there for the length you want, right?
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. So I had that on, and I did the shaving, and then I take it off to trim things. Okay, to get it all trimmed up. And so I got it all trimmed up, and I'm at one point I see a little problem, so I go boom, and it takes a big chunk out of my beard.
Yeah.
Now, what's better, doing this, right, and letting it grow back, or just leaving the chunk out of my beard? I don't think we want to leave the chunk out of my beard.
Well, you could have sculpted it so it would look even, but have it grow back and have most of the beard.
You know what I could have done? It was right here. I could have done this.
Yeah,
and done one
soul
of the,
patch.
Huh?
The soul
well,
patch.
I have a soul patch, but to get rid of this part right here, and then I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it'll be back in 2 weeks.
You think so?
Fine. Yes.
Not like it was. It will take more time for that, but Of course, you know what I can do. There's a little thing you can do with our wonderful thing here called Zoom. They have some things that would solve the problem. And
you can put facial thing. You could put masks on.
Here we go. Ready? There we go.
I don't see anything.
You don't see anything? Let me turn it off.
I don't see anything.
And I'll turn it back on. Huh?
No, just Alex Bennett. Still the same guy. I don't see anything different.
You don't see anything different?
I don't know.
Because if I turn it off, there you go. Well, anyway, forget it. Forget it. I don't need it.
Oh.
Yeah.
It'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So.
Don't worry about it.
Anyway, anyway, what's happening with you down there?
Nothing. Finally getting some rain, some appreciable rain.
Nothing happening down in Florida, huh?
Not outside of the usual, silly nonsense that goes on.
Yeah. Well,
prices are going up. The heat, climate craziness, the same stuff.
What's the heat like down there?
It's a wet heat.
It's a wet heat.
You know how they always say, well, it's very hot, but it's a dry heat. No, this is a wet heat.
Yeah, it's
very bad. People don't like a wet heat.
You can't keep a crease in your pants.
No. It's a wet heat. It's not fun. But nobody goes out, so it doesn't matter. You go out, you play pickleball in the morning, you play pickleball in the evening, and that's it.
Why pickleball? Isn't that just like you're playing table tennis, but you're on a large table tennis table?
No, it's like you're playing tennis, but you're on a smaller tennis court. That's what it is.
It doesn't look like tennis. You got a ball with air in it.
It's very much like tennis.
No, they play it like tennis, but it's non-impact tennis.
You just said it. They play it like tennis. So
they play it like tennis, but it's non-impact tennis.
Yeah, well, you want to have a game? You see how non-impact it is?
Believe me, I couldn't play any game these days.
That's true. You can. I'll use a cane as well. We'll both use canes, and we'll play pickleball.
We'll play pickleball.
Yeah, three-legged pickleball.
Three-legged pickleball.
It's a new thing. It's the new pickleball. Three-legged pickleball.
Really? Oh well. Okay. Do you actually play pickleball? I mean, you're a big pickleball.
No, I don't play at all. I have played. Huh?
You're a big. I'm moving myself. A big pickleball player.
No, I have played. We have some courts over here, and a lot of people play, but I don't play. I'm a kid from Queens.
Now, is pickleball like for old people?
No, it's not. It's very much not. Pickleball is for anybody, and like you said, it's lower impact than tennis. It's a less of a footprint for the courts, so you can have a lot more courts in the space of tennis courts, and a lot more people can play.
Yeah, but what did they do?
Fast.
What did they do to create the pickleball courts? They converted tennis courts, didn't they?
Well, you can make it anywhere. You don't have to convert anything. You take the shuffleboard courts out that nobody uses and make a pickleball court out of it. Or bocce. We
Bocce.
have bocce here too. Very few people play bocce. Very few people play shuffleboard.
Bocce ball is like an Italian thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you throw a ball and you try to knock the other ball out of the way or something.
Yeah, it's kind of like bowling and billiards combined, something like that. Except no. Yeah, I guess billiards, not pool, billiards.
Is that an old people's sport?
Bocce?
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't know. I used to play it in New York. There was a restaurant on the Upper East Side that had bocce courts, I think in the basement or something, and I used to go and play there.
Wow.
It's nice. It's a calm game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought it was just like old Italians played bocce ball.
I'm sure there are a good number of old Italians that play bocce, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be.
If you want to be a racist, you can say that.
Yeah.
But
So the weather is, how hot is it?
how hot is it?
It's so hot. I saw a
It's
squirrel
so hot.
out in Central Park. I saw a squirrel putting lotion on his nuts.
Right. It's 90 plus degrees, and then the wet heat. That's
Right now here in New York, it's 88 degrees.
All right. Now the time, you got the time too, because you got to do the time and the temperature.
Well, right now it happens to be 1:15 here in New York.
You got to have that
And
sounder.
88 degrees. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Maybe I have.
Oh yeah,
a sound.
you have sound effects.
Yeah.
Go ahead, throw it in.
Let me see. It's 88 degrees.
Okay, that's nice. Do I have anything? Here? I don't know how these work. Let me see if I can get this to work. Hang on a minute. Wait a minute. All right, let's see what I have in here. I don't know how to stop it. Uh-oh.
Push the button, I guess.
All right. Did you hear that?
No. But you
No.
see, here's the thing with
I just turned all this off. Hold on.
here's the thing with Zoom. I try to play music to you, and you probably won't hear it.
That's correct.
See, let me play some music here. Do you hear this?
No, but I'm not supposed to hear it because you need an internal mixer in your computer. Then I can hear it.
Internal mixer in my computer?
Yeah, to hear audio that goes out to Zoom, you need a mixer in your computer that will send things out just the same way it sends out the microphone. Sends it out on a different line in the computer.
No, but you just heard this. Wait a minute. You just heard this. Come on.
I don't.
Well, that's not working.
No, it's not at all.
Oh, here we go. There we go.
Alex Bennett is still alive?
You heard that?
That's lovely. Yes, I heard that.
See? And you hear this,
This is a test. For the next 60 seconds.
but you can't hear.
Hi, I'm Robin
You
Leach
hear
with the
that?
Champagne Wishes and Caviar
I
Dreams.
can hear it.
And you're listening to the incredible, the memorable, the wonderful, the one and only Alex Bennett.
That's
Right.
lovely.
But I'm saying that it lets certain things through and it doesn't let others through. And
Yeah,
I think it has to do
you know,
with copyright material, or what they perceive to be copywritten material.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't.
Because why would it play my Gilbert and you could hear it? Okay, and let me turn this down so that it doesn't go out there. Why could you hear?
Alex Bennett is still alive?
You just heard that, right?
Did, yes. I
Yeah,
did.
but you don't hear. Don't hear that, do you?
I heard bits, a little bit of it, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what it does. I mean, this is feeding my audio and all the audio into Zoom and also into my recording device, which is OBS. So it shouldn't be censoring it, but it has to do. There's some kind of censoring going on. It's weird. It's really weird.
Technology is weird.
Yeah, it is weird. And I hate for them to make a choice of what I can play and let you hear and what and what I want you to hear. and have them make the decision that I can't let you hear it.
Well, then get off Zoom and create your own thing.
Maybe there's something else where you can play the music. I don't know. But this is,
Well, if you set up your own, on GabNet you can play whatever you want, except for the fact that they can come after you and sue you.
My question is, why should Zoom even care?
Because they don't want to get sued.
They can't get sued. There are certain laws that don't make them responsible for what somebody does with their stuff. Okay.
Well, they may not lose the suit, but they don't want to get sued. Because if everybody sued them for every piece of audio or video that another person owns, then they'd be in lawsuits.
No, but I'm playing it. How can they be sued?
Because it's their platform.
There's the thing, I forget what it's called now, in the law, where, for instance, if somebody does something illegal on Zoom, Zoom is not responsible in any way, shape, or form. And I'm trying to remember what it was called. They used to give it to the cable companies, too, so that when it came to shows like public access shows, they could not be held responsible for what went on the public access shows.
I don't know the law that well.
Yeah. Well, in this case, what is Zoom doing? They're determining what I can let you hear and not let you hear. And quite frankly, that sucks, especially when I'm paying $160 a year for the goddamn service.
Yeah, you should get the free one then. Use
the free one's only 40 minutes. And I need at least an hour.
How much more do you need? You're too connected.
I do my shows every 3 nights a week for an hour, and one on Monday for an hour. I need the unlimited.
And you use Zoom every night?
Well, on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and then on Mondays.
Well, you got to go back to Skype, man. Skype never had these problems.
Skype had a lot more problems, I gotta tell you.
Couldn't hear anything. That was the problem.
I basically never had anything go wrong with Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's been a couple of years now. What is it? The pandemic was in 20, so it's like 4 years now. You don't think Skype's caught up yet to the technology?
I've looked at them. They haven't caught up. They're not as easy to deal with.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And nobody else has a service that's as good as easy to do as Zoom?
There may be others, but since they don't have the reach, other people may go, I don't know how to do that one. I don't have that one on my computer, whatever. Yeah. Zoom's got the advantage here.
And a great name, let's face it. Come on, Zoom. What's better than that?
But it's not a great name because it doesn't say anything about what the product is. It sounds like it should be an airplane or something.
Fine, though. It's Zoom. Let's go on Zoom. Let's Skype.
Let's Skype. Let's Zoom. Let's
Skype. Yeah. You want to go on Skype? Let's Zoom instead.
Yeah.
We're going to Zoom. Forget about Skype.
Forget about Skype. Anyway, it's been really hot here. It's been really hot around the country. I mean, you agree there is global warming going on, don't you?
No, I agree there's climate change going on, but that's going on all the time. All the time. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, the climate changes.
Yeah, but it isn't just heat that I'm talking about. Wildfires, tornadoes, all that have been far more vicious now than they've ever been.
Trying to get rid of the humans. The Earth doesn't want the humans anymore.
Well, that I agree with.
Got to get rid of them.
Because people don't realize we're so egotistical. Well, we can put carbon up in the air, and we can do this, and we can do that. No, nature will survive. Beyond anything, nature will survive, and even at the expense of you. Okay?
Here's a bigger egotistical claim. We're going to be able to fix it. No, you're not. Forget about your footprint. Forget about what you're doing to conserve and what do they call it now? It's replenishable, or we can keep it going. Forget about it. It's past that point. We've passed that point. Any adult or younger person who believes that, forget it. It's past that point. And even if it weren't, nobody's doing anything to change it. So forget it. The little kid from Norway, forget it. It's not going to happen. Or she's got to be like 20 or 30 now.
Isn't it Greta Thunberg or what?
Greta Thunberg, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And is she still a thing? Or did she say, well, forget it. I can't. It's not going to happen. Forget it.
Well, it became her life's work.
And it's a very notable,
admirable
thing. But you're dealing with humans. Forget it, man. And worse than that, you're dealing with people who are worse than humans. And you know who those people are? Corporations.
Oh God.
They're even worse than humans. They're the worst people on the planet, and they're not going to change. So forget it. Enjoy your hurricanes, enjoy your tornadoes, enjoy your tsunamis, because that's what's going to happen. Get a good umbrella, the golf type that doesn't fold back up. Get some galoshes or whatever they're called now, wellies, and enjoy it, because this is what's going to be.
Wellies?
Yeah, Wellington boots.
Wellington boots. Okay. I just did something by accident that I always yell at people for doing, showing their microphones on podcasts. They make a big deal out of it. See my microphone? See what a great big microphone I've got? So, yeah. So I accidentally had it up like this.
How dare you?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, folks. I apologize. Anyway, so, the weather down there, I mean, in Florida, it gets pretty brutal.
But it always has.
You know where it gets brutal? When I lived in Texas.
Mm-hmm. That's a dry heat.
Huh?
That's a dry heat.
No, it's humid.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. As I said, in the summer, you could never keep a crease in your pants,
It's a wet heat like we have here.
It's a wet heat.
Wet heat.
Now, where do they say? Arizona always goes, oh, well, but it's a dry heat.
Dry heat. Yeah, it's not as bad because it's dry heat.
It's a dry heat. And I go, yeah, it's a dry heat. Good. That's terrific. It's still hot. Yeah, I looked at the temperature in Phoenix. It was 119 the other day. And I'm going, yeah, it's dry heat. Good. I'm fine. Go out. Stand out there if it's so dry.
I don't see the big deal. And there's a lot of New Yorkers down here, and they complain about it all the time. But when I lived in New York, in the heat of the summer, 96, 97, 98, 99 at times, occasionally above 100. And that's the way it was. It's not much different from down here.
That at beginning of like...
Yes, summer in the city.
Summer in the city. That's how it feels.
Yes, that's how the way it feels, yes.
Da-dum.
Yeah. Can you play that, or will Zoom restrict that?
Zoom will restrict that. Yeah. But you're absolutely. I know you've always had the same feeling I did. That was, if you were to describe to people what heat in New York City is like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It is. It's just. And also. We also have a lot of cement in this town, in the form of sidewalks and streets, and it radiates off that, and that's why New York gets especially hot. If we had grass out there instead of cement, it'd be much better. That's why people go out to the parks, because they're cooler because they got grass out there.
Is it because of the grass, or because there's no buildings holding the heat in those little street pockets?
Yeah, well, I mean, whatever it is in New York City, there are a lot of things that make it feel hotter than it really is. And then we get the humidity. Marjorie and I, this is true. We move into the back end of our apartment, close the door there that goes down the hallway, and we live in the back with the air conditioning on. Because the living room, the dining room, and so on is so humid and so hot. And people say, well, why don't you turn on the air conditioners? I can only turn on a certain amount of air conditioners at one time without blowing fuses downstairs. So it's like I have like a portion how much air conditioning. Otherwise, I'd have air conditioning in every window and have them running full blast, even if it's costing me a fortune.
And yet I'm looking at you, and you're sitting in your living room doing this program.
Yes, isn't that amazing?
Why would you do that? Go to the back of the house. Go to the back of the apartment where it's nice and cool.
Yeah. Well, I could.
You need to get a background with the back of the apartment on it.
With the back of the apartment.
Yeah, so you can say I'm at the back of the apartment
Well,
enjoying
we could do that. All I have to do is take down the green screen, and I'm in the back of the apartment.
And you're in the back of the apartment. Yeah. And I've told you, I like that wall of DVDs a lot better than I like the living room, but it's conducive more to doing programs. I think the wall of.
Do you think so?
I always.
Well, you're the
so.
producer.
Yeah.
Not of this, but you're the producer.
I've been told.
Yeah. So if you were
Paycheck
producing the
used to
show,
say.
you'd have me drop the background.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Ditch the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stick with the studio look. I like that better.
I see. Well, this is the daytime now, which I put up when I'm interviewing you because outside your window, it's daytime. Okay, so if I have the other one that's the nighttime one, and I'm talking to you, it doesn't make much sense.
Well, you could say you've gone to Europe for the day.
Really?
Why not?
So anyway, well, you're taking a vacation soon, aren't you?
Am I?
Yeah. By the way, you know something? We've run over.
Oh, well, too bad.
I don't care.
See ya.
But I just looked and see ya.
You can close this down. We'll do another one next week or so.
I think we will in about
Okay.
a minute and a half or something. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Albert. I can't believe I didn't even look at the time. Albert Reynoso, ladies and gentlemen. Yay!
In the wet heat.
Now in its 10th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
I got to turn my. I forgot to turn my microphone on. Oh well, I'm still learning how to use all this. It's whatever. Anyway, we have air conditioning going on today. I've got the air conditioner on full blast. And I think I've got to do something here. Hold on. Excuse me, I'm still trying to get this thing all set so that it's right. But if I cut this off, then you'll hear that. But I'm trying to. There's a thing called a noise gate here, and if you turn it down, the threshold on it, there we go. No, there we go. There. How's that? Is that better? Okay. I had something last night that was a real problem. And the problem last night was that I had a thing called the compressor, and I had it on too much. And I don't know if this is doing this has got a problem too here. I don't know what to do. All I know is that I'm trying to make this thing so that it works right, and I can't do it. Okay, here we go. Is that better? I don't know. How about that? Is that better? I don't know. I can't do this anymore. I'm trying to keep it so that it has a noise gate. That's a little better. All right, that's fine. I think we got that down a little better. Let me see here. We got a whole bunch of people waiting to come on. Wow. Geez. We got Charlie Wallace here, and we got, let me see here, who else? We got Charlie Wallace, and we got, Josh is back again tonight, and Bree is with us from the Far East. Hello there, Bree. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, good. And do I sound okay, everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, last night I was kind of...
Say hello, Alan.
Oh, hi, Alan. Yeah, I was pumping a lot last night. I'm not pumping tonight at all. I sound okay to you?
So far, we'll let you know as we go along.
All right. And also, I have the noise gate established here, so, you know, we're trying to figure out what it is. But anyway, so hello to everybody. How are you?
Good.
Doing good.
Okay, so we had something a little important tonight. We had the our president of the United States giving a let me see here. Hold on a second. I got to admit Jeffrey, and then there's somebody called Melanin Faith who doesn't even exist, so they can go fuck themselves. So they can just wait there. Okay. All right. Melanin Faith who doesn't even exist, so they can go fuck themselves. So wait a minute. Who's that?
Jeff.
I think it's Jeff.
Oh, Jeff.
I'm okay.
You all right now, Jeff?
I'm on, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, and let's see your whole face, too. Anyway.
Oh, I'll do that. Yeah.
Where was I? Anyway. What was I talking? I was going to say something, and then I forgot. Oh, yes. Okay. All right.
There's a guy, I think he was the president.
Yeah, President of the United States tonight gave a press conference. Did anybody see that?
Yes.
What
I did.
My comment at the very end of the press conference was, well, we're all fucked.
Again? Wow.
I'm sorry. You know, did you watch it tonight, Charlie?
No, I was on the road. I just got here.
Where are you again?
I'm in Chicago now.
You're in Chicago. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you watch it tonight, Josh?
Yeah, I do.
Would you agree with me that we're all fucked?
Well, I don't know that I would agree with that because that indicates that there's nothing you can do about something. So, I don't know that I would agree that there's nothing that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I don't think the press conference is going over real well, you know, and I don't think that it stopped anybody from thinking the things that they've been thinking for the last, you know, whatever it is, 2 weeks. You know, I don't think it assuaged anybody's nervousness or whatever. And, you know, and I think that it showed what I said, which was he knows what he's doing and he knows things very well. And he's very capable of being president, but he's not very capable at running for president.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
because
that's
being president and keeping the nation running and safe really doesn't require a person to stand at a podium and answer questions from rude or stupid reporters. That's not really the job. The job is to go over here and do the substantive things that it takes.
But
he can do that. He's
Yeah.
not very good at the audience.
But didn't you feel in listening to him like it was like your, I don't know, your old 80-year-old uncle at the Thanksgiving dinner table? Telling you what it was like long ago?
I mean, I don't know if I'd put it like that. He's just not very good at that setup. He's just not, you know. I mean, I think that if he sat in a room without the cameras and he was talking to another world leader, you know, one-on-one in the private room, I'm sure that it's fine. And from all indications that we've gotten, even with all the leaks and all that stuff now, that's what people say is that it's fine. He's just not great at the, you know, the high spectacle moments, you know. So, you know, because he's not because putting on a show and being president are two totally different. They're two totally different things, you know.
By the way, I have to apologize to the audience. It was my face was up for the last 5 minutes instead of the Zoom. I'm out of it lately with this. I'm gonna
so
yeah.
I mean that's not. I mean it's not good. It's not doing anything else to help people, you know, feel better. And I mean I get polling info and all that, but you know I just think that.
Do you think he's capable of winning an election?
I don't know if he's capable of winning. You know, I don't. I mean, I certainly think he's capable of governing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think that he's capable of winning because I don't think that most Americans are able to look at that kind of stuff. I don't think they, Americans overall, when they vote, are really not all that well informed, or they don't really think about it that deeply, to be honest with you. They're not very good at picking competent people to lead in government, which is how we end up with the people that we have.
That's very obvious by the fact that in any other time in our history, we would never have allowed a Donald Trump to exist. All right? But we thought better of ourselves than that. You know, so...
well, certainly let it come into the mainstream, much more so than we would have. So, I just don't... I mean, in all honesty, probably what needs to happen is you need to get a change in their strategy, and they need to do it and then stick with it. And I think they could defeat Trump in with that. I mean, he's probably more vulnerable than any other candidate in quite some time because he, for as much as he has hardcore supporters, he's not liked by a lot of people, and by a lot, I mean, the majority. I mean, the polling, tells you that. He has certain areas where he is.
People come along with this attitude that we only have two people to choose from.
Right.
And that being the case, two people to choose from, they don't feel that they can maybe not vote for Donald Trump, and if they don't like Joe Biden, not vote for him either. Just don't vote.
Yeah. That's not really going to help anything.
I don't know what's going to. I don't know what's going to help anything. Bree?
I mean, I would like for him to be president again. He's very capable. I've been a long time supporter. You and I talked about this last week off the air. Was very involved with Joe Biden before it was ever cool, and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, really, what they need to do, to me, is for the good of the country, for the good of the people, and for the good of the office of the presidency. I think that President Obama, I think that President Clinton, and I really think that President Bush all need to have a conversation with him about what's good for the country, what's good for the presidency, and what's good for Western democracy as we know it today.
Mm-hmm.
What's good for the legacy of Churchill, of FDR, of all the people that came after them. Our job, your job, was to maintain that way of life for the Western world. You've done that. You've served honorably. I think your duty is done. I mean, you just can't go all 9 innings tonight.
You've done your duty to your country. What you did was you became exactly what you said you were going to be, which was an interim president, right? That was going to be there until the next president comes along, right? And then you would back off. I think if he stuck to that plan, he would have been in great shape. Somebody else would have gotten the nomination for the Democratic Party. It probably would have been somebody who certainly could beat the pants off Trump. But right now you've got a guy who's in a very weakened position, and I just don't know that he can beat Donald Trump. And I agree with you. Western democracy is at stake here, and he should be made to feel that he would be doing a greater service to that democracy if he didn't run.
Yeah, I understand, and I don't want to be the only one to talk about it, so we'll let everybody else. But I mean, I can understand the hesitation of someone like Obama or someone like President Clinton, because they're sitting there, even President Bush, and they're thinking, God, how mad would I have been if they would have called me and told me not to run? I'd have been. I get it, but I mean, their job, their only job, they're part of this club where their only job was to keep this nation moving forward.
Right.
Forward. The arc of democratic government has always been forward in this country. It points up slowly at times, but it's always pointed up and it's always moved forward. And I understand that sometimes it's been 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, but that's still 1 step net forward, right? So that's their job.
Right.
And I don't know that the candidate that he's running against will maintain that standard. He will not. He is surrounded by people that I consider to be fascist, and I don't think that that's what Western democracy is built on, what it's based on, what it should be looking for. And that's why I think, President Obama, President Clinton, and President Bush should probably try to say something to him. I mean, I'm sure they can find a way to do it outside of the fucking press and all that other stuff. These are powerful people that can sneak it in. They can get it done.
Mm-hmm.
But, it probably, I've heard a lot about, he's really insulated and he doesn't get people talking to him that are going to tell him, because he just keeps it to the family and the very, very close staff and all, and I get it. But I'm telling you, from all the books that I've ever read and everything that I've ever seen, the one phone call that a president will never turn down is from another president. I mean,
Right.
It's just the one that they don't not take. So that's why.
I know one president he wouldn't take a call from.
Well, that's, again, which is a reflection of how ridiculous things have changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think that he would easily talk to former President Bush. I mean, why wouldn't he?
Oh, of course. Of course.
We didn't like former President Bush, all right? I didn't vote for him. But, if Trump's taught us anything, he certainly taught us to be nicer to people like former President Bush.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
Bree, did you hear this speech at all tonight?
Bits and pieces. I saw the reviews, the pundits.
What are the pundits saying?
Well, it depends on who you talk to, who you want to listen to. You want to listen to the people on Megyn Kelly, or do you want to listen to the people on MSNBC? Do you want to listen to Paul Begala, or do you want to listen to Cenk Uygur? Who do you want to listen to?
I would never listen to Cenk Uygur. He's an asshole. But anyway.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm starting to agree with you on that.
Yeah.
No, I think that, the Democrats are one side, Republicans are another. The media is kind of like this rope of the, tug of war that they use.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, let's pile on. The good thing is Biden's getting all the press right now. So Trump is kind of squelched a little bit there.
Today, when you talk about...
it'll shift back.
When you talk about sucking the oxygen out of the room...
it'll be a close election. But right now, the edge is to Trump. But anything can happen. That world events, wag the dog. World events can come on the scene. Anything can happen. But in terms of people going to Biden and telling him to step, no, I don't see that happening. There's only 2 months, 3 months, and this is happening.
I disagree with that argument. Jon Stewart put it best. He said, in England, they just had their election. It took them 2 months. In France, they had their election. It took them only 1 month. I think we can do it in 4 months. Okay? We used to do it. We used to do it in 4 months.
It's in Britain. It's a law, or there's some. It's part of the system, and it's also the case that on the BBC, you had to give equal time to the parties. Based on the vote percentage.
What I'm saying is, years ago when I was growing up as a kid, I remember you had the conventions happen. Nobody really politicked before the convention. They then went to the convention, found out who the standard bearers would be, and when that was all over, they started campaigning for about 3 to 4 months, and that was it. That's the way that's the way it always was back then. Somehow we got into this whole primary thing, and then, of course, you've got the news organizations who have got to have something to talk about, so they start having people running 2 years ahead of time.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, we can do it in 4 months. And quite frankly, let's say we don't run Biden. Okay, we run either Kamala Harris or we run Gavin Newsom or Gretchen what's her name out of Detroit? Any of those, they will have an advantage because they only have 4 months to establish themselves. But likewise, the opposite party only has 4 months to try and get dirt on them, where we've got all the dirt we need on Donald Trump.
I believe that we've come far enough, down the line where the narrative has constantly been, oh, we have 2 people that no one really likes, and they're old, and this guy's too old. That if they refreshed and came out and said, okay, you know what, you're right, we've come to that conclusion, and now our side, the Democratic Party, is going to offer up to you this much younger, very capable person. Now Trump is the old guy. I mean, they can change the narrative if they chose to. I mean, I think I told you last week, and I still kind of believe that it would be, if they want to do something like that, they can do it. Look, I said before, if they really wanted to end Trump, then find someone to run for president and nominate a never Trump person as their vice president. Team them up with someone that appeals to all over the country. Give everyone who
Trump is in control
within his own party someone to vote.
What did you say? What did you say, Bree?
Well, Trump runs the party, and I don't understand how you guys are talking about the dystopian realities.
No, we're not talking about dystopian.
I'll give you an example.
No, wait.
FM radio.
Hold on a second. What dystopian realities are we talking about?
That Trump is going to get a never Trumper to run with him?
No. That's not. You weren't even listening. We talked about this the other night. That if the Democrats got somebody, let's say, arguably Gavin Newsom, and they need to have a guy to run as vice president, the person they have run as vice president, they should get somebody who's like a Republican and a never Trumper. Because you can run a Republican on the Democratic ticket if you want to,
right.
And
well,
that would.
It's exciting to talk about these things, but I'm happy, and it's great to talk about them. But realistically, this is not going to happen.
No, for the most part, that's not going to happen. If it isn't Biden, it's going to be Kamala Harris. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the way it's shaping up. But I don't buy that that's a good idea either, although I think she's a very competent woman. I just don't know if she's the person you want to have in there as the standard bearer for the party at such a crucial time as this. Any other time, I'd say, go ahead, give her a shot. I think maybe she can do it. But that's not what we're involved in here. This is not
It's possible at the convention the delegates could break for her.
Well, they can't break for her because he's going to get it on the first ballot. Because he's got.
Didn't he say they're free?
No,
they're free to do.
No, he hasn't.
I thought he said they're free to do what they want.
No.
Okay, then I misheard.
Not on the first ballot.
He said the convention is free to do what it wants to do, but it can't do something it can't do, which on the first ballot they have to go with the primary winners, and the only primary winner the Democratic Party has is Joe Biden. So that's what that's all about.
Yeah, but if a candidate refuses to accept nomination, they can take whatever action after that.
Yes.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's nothing. There's no rule. There's no godly command. There's nothing that stops someone different from running for president. That's it. There's not. If they're over 35 years old and a natural-born citizen of the United States of America, those are the 2 qualifications they have to meet.
Yeah.
Everything else can be worked out through whatever mechanism needs to be done to work it out. I mean, nothing prohibits it. I mean, if he decides tomorrow morning he's not going to run for president anymore, then they get a new person. It's no different than if a candidate passed away during the campaign.
Yeah.
It's not like you go to the convention and you nominate someone and the candidate passes away and they just go, oh, we'll just cancel, the November 4th election. The other person won. It's not a sporting event where the other team didn't show up.
Let me ask some other people some questions here. Alan, did you listen to it tonight?
I did.
What was your opinion?
I think he read everything great off the teleprompter.
Well, that was the speech he gave about NATO. It was fine, and he even screwed up once on the teleprompter, but I'll give him that. Okay.
Yeah.
But I felt, as for the rest of it, as I said, it kind of just seemed like, your aging uncle at the Thanksgiving dinner table who just won't shut up, And I just, I didn't feel comfortable. I felt very uncomfortable watching it.
I'd like for it to have been over. I mean, look, I think Joe Biden continuing to run is probably Trump's dream, and Joe Biden not running is probably Trump's nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Delegates are not legally bound to vote for Biden, and technically can vote for another candidate if they choose to do so.
Not on the
it says they're expected. I asked for the first round ballot, can they vote Kamala? In the first round of voting, pledged delegates are expected to vote for the candidate they were pledged to during the primary process. However, these delegates are not legally bound to vote for him and can technically vote for another candidate even on the first ballot, such as Kamala Harris, if they choose to do so. So that's where that could be realistic. That's a realistic possibility.
Ray, you have your hand up?
I'm sorry, but I need to agree with Bree because they asked him that direct question, and he said yes. And his words were, yes, they're free to do whatever they want. However, I know that they're loyal to me. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
They asked him that in the press conference today.
By the way, did you notice the one big gaffe in that press conference today?
Yes. When he called Vice President Trump, yes.
It's nice to know our Vice President is Trump.
And he didn't even realize that he did it. And then at the end, when that reporter pointed it out, he still didn't know what the guy was talking about. Yeah. And he just said, well, ask Trump.
What did you feel?
Next time Trump gives a speech and talks about how he's running against President Obama, I hope it makes the headline in the fucking Washington Post the way that one did.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. Why aren't they talking? Why aren't they talking about Trump's endless gaffes and brain farts that he has? I mean, just because he sounds a little better doesn't mean that his brain is working any better.
In that debate, he lied. 50 times was it?
50? Once every minute and 26 seconds.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? How many of you truly believe that Kamala Harris wouldn't become the president? Because do you believe in, let's say, June, July of 2027, that Biden will still be sharp as a tack in 2027?
No.
I doubt if he'd be sharp as a tack in 2 more years. That's my worry.
Right. So what I think is, this is the message. Look, guys, Joe Biden's on the ticket with Kamala Harris. We've already got that set. We're kind of already going down that road. Let's go that way with the understanding that after about a year or so, Kamala Harris will come in. And at that moment, she's going to pick a well-respected vice presidential candidate, and we'll go from there.
That's what I think.
Sounds good to me.
That's what I think is the smartest way to go.
But
I think they're going now.
But first Biden has to win the election.
Yeah.
Right. But
I think he can.
I think he can too. I think today showed that even though he did sound like your uncle going on and on and on, it became very clear that he has a very deep understanding of a lot of the things that are going on in this world.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. What he doesn't understand is how to communicate with the American public at this point.
Well,
I agree.
Biden's always had a speech issue. Why don't they ever bring that up? Like, he had to overcome that.
He had a speech issue. He was a stutterer. But he overcame it. He overcame it. And if you go back and just look at Biden in 2020 when he was running, it's like night and day. It's like night and day.
But we've become used to Trump, and you could say the same thing about Trump. Compare him now to the way he was 10 years ago. It's not even close. He had a good vocabulary.
Listen, the fact that America has even considered him for president again disappoints me greatly in this country. Okay?
But
if
the Democrats were smart, they wouldn't be going after Biden. They would increase the pressure on the stupidity of Donald Trump instead of the stupidity of Joe Biden. And it's so typical of the Democratic Party. You think the Republicans would be doing this to Trump? No way. No way in hell.
But
I mean, we're destroying ourselves again, as usual.
Look at the name of the party tells you that exact reality. Democratic democracy, Republican republic. What do we live in? Is the USA a democracy, or is it a federal republic? You know,
It's a
and
mixture.
You see the way
Depends.
It's a democratic republic.
It depends on which government you're talking, whether you're talking about local government or federal or state too.
Yeah.
It's all complicated.
Well, what will happen is what I said. Biden will still stay on there. He's getting a lot of. He needs to turn this coverage into positive because he's got all the coverage right now. It's amazing, actually, if you think about it, because Trump usually dominates all this. So it'll be Biden-Harris, and the tacit understanding is, if you vote for Biden, you're really voting for Kamala Harris, and because she will, whether you believe it or not, she's going to be president. If you vote for Biden, that's the reality. And if you can accept that, go to the polls.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Well, you know, it's
who's Trump going to pick? J.D. Vance, or is he going to pick Scott in South Carolina, or is he going to pick?
He'll pick a yes man or a yes woman.
David Duke.
Yeah.
David Duke. Ramaswamy or whatever his name
is. Yeah. Well,
possibility.
No, he's too brown.
Too brown.
It's just, you know, you put it best a couple of nights ago, Josh, and it's just sad that we're even in this pickle. You know, I mean, we should have two fresh, really articulate people running against each other and be presented with a real choice. But here it's like lesser of two evils. Come on.
Our whole culture, our whole nation is based this way. I can give you so many examples. When I was, and this one relates to radio, Alex, when I was growing up, and it's still today, they play the same songs over and over. Now you could come in and say, well, why don't they play this? Why don't they play that? Why don't they do something new? Because they got a lot of money locked into this system. Okay, you go into McDonald's and you don't want Coke or Pepsi. You want a grape knee-high, or you want a root beer. You can't get it. Why? Because they've already determined this is what sells. This is how our system works. So this is what you're going to do. And you can't just wake up one morning and say, we got to change everything, because those systems are in place. And I think this is the perfect example that shows you, yeah, our system is all the flaws are there. And I think Donald Trump has really exposed them. But you can't, as much as we would want to, change takes time and it's slow. You know, when I was in graduate school, I used to go to the co-op and I would buy 7th generation, laundry detergent because it doesn't have phosphates. And I would say, if everybody used this, our waters would be cleaner. It took about 15 years, and now you can go to Walmart, you can get 7th generation. But it didn't happen overnight, So slowly, things. The problem is we do have issues that need to be addressed, but we just can't address them so quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you were mentioning about how we used to play the same 40 records over and over again on radio stations. Do you know
they still do.
Yeah, but you know how that happened?
Yeah, because people went into the diner and they put a nickel in the jukebox.
That's right.
And they kept playing the same songs.
That's right. A guy by the name of Todd Storrs and Gordon McClendon were sitting in a restaurant, and this in a diner, and this waitress kept going over and putting money into the jukebox and playing the same 5 songs over and over again, and they thought to themselves, "Why is she doing that?" And then they kind of thought about it, and they started a whole format based on playing the same 40 songs over and over again.
And back during legacy media, the time of traditional media, that was the way to go.
Yep.
It's no longer the way, but it still goes on.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yep. It certainly does. There's Tony. We got Tony here.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go again. Right. Be good tonight, Tony.
At least I'm in the Hilton tonight.
Don't get me in trouble. I got a call. I got a call today from the Secret Service. I got a call from the Secret Service, and they said, we heard there was some guy on your show, and could you tell us who he is and where we can find him? And I told them, no, I never heard of the guy.
I didn't know about this. I better get off the line. My goodness.
You know, I was listening to you
By
guys,
association.
and Bree was making a couple of good points, and I didn't hear the whole thing with you guys. See, here's a question I was going to pose to you guys. They should just stay with Biden then, because if you think about it, if you want Harris, let's say he steps down, the ticket should be secure then, because if he steps down, you got Harris then. So a vote for Joe would be a vote for Harris.
That's what it is.
So then don't they have confidence then in that ticket?
Well, I mean, they should have confidence in the ticket, but
I do.
You know,
That's the message they need to send.
You know, I mean, quite frankly, I don't know if anybody has shown me where Kamala Harris has the chops to be president. She's a very talented, very accomplished woman, and I have a great deal of respect for her. But that doesn't mean she can be president of the United States. You know, and
She's going to have to be.
I would prefer somebody who was a governor, like Gretchen Whitmer, for instance, because that's closer to being president than any job you're going to get. You don't hear about very many senators or congressmen running for president, you know, and when they do, they never win, usually.
See, that's a good point.
Kennedy.
Well, we had Obama won, but he had barely JFK. And that's it. The rest of them were either governors or what else? Sometimes I think that have we had any recently, Josh, who were just people, not in politics, who suddenly ran?
Dwight Eisenhower.
Well, you could say Ronald Reagan in a way.
He was horrible.
But he came from being a governor too.
Here's a question I actually don't know.
Wait a minute. Alan has his hand up. Yes, Alan.
If Kamala ran, California for the first time in a long time would vote red. She was not popular here. She was not very popular in San Francisco.
But
she's not going to run.
As opposed to your argument about that, she has the reputation of having been a very good attorney general and district attorney of San Francisco. And I don't know where you've gotten that impression, because I've heard quite the opposite.
Well, I read it in the paper. Well, that's a lie.
Yeah.
I hear it on the news. I know people that work for the city of San Francisco, and she wasn't a very good prosecutor there.
Well,
then how did she win the attorney general's office if she was so disliked?
Nobody else was running.
Well, it must be somebody running.
She doesn't have to get run against somebody.
What? What'd you say, Alan?
Alex.
Well, Bree's trying to say something.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, Bree.
Well, I wanted to get your impression on the 9 or 10 percentage points that RFK Jr. seems to be polling at. Who is he taking from, and is this going to be another Gore Bush?
I think he's taking from Trump, if you want my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think most Democrats like him very much.
Nope.
You know, mainly because, among other things, they look upon him as trying to be a spoiler.
Yeah, that seems to be what's happening.
Yeah, but
his own family doesn't like him.
Well, that doesn't matter. You know.
I mean, but they're dyed-in-the-wool Democrats.
You know, I mean, I think he's. I think his brain has been eaten by worms. But anyway, he is just not. I think is pulling from the Trump group. You know.
Okay.
He's a little bit too. How can we put it? Wacko to appeal to most Democrats. Most Democrats consider themselves much more level-headed than that. But you know, I don't know that he's pulling that much. I don't hear, and to begin with, he can pull all he wants to in a national poll. The fact is, he isn't on the ballot in very many states. So he's got to win those too in order to be president, and he isn't running in those states. And he can't find a party who is registered in all those states who's willing to run him. You know.
But maybe it works the other way this time then. Maybe RFK Jr. helps to get Biden elected.
Well, I mean, it could be. But, you know, I mean, I don't want to take any of those chances. I'd like to see a candidate who I think can win. You know, and who can take.
By the way, we don't hear much from Gore and Clinton.
Well, we don't hear from Gore much at all anyway. And we don't hear much from Clinton lately. You know, and I mean, I'm talking about in the last couple of years. He kind of seems to have disappeared. Yeah. And so is Hillary. You don't hear Hillary making, you know, talking much about any of this. Of course.
How old is she?
God, I think she's in her late 70s.
Late
76, maybe?
Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Echo, how old is Hillary Clinton?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I said,
What are you asking about?
Hillary Clinton, how old is she? Echo, how old is Hillary Clinton?
I hate when it does that.
Hillary Clinton is 76 years old.
76.
76, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Gee, compared to
by the way, I thought of an interesting fact the other day. I've had lunch or dinner with most of these people that are involved. I mean, or met them. I've met Trump. I had dinner with Donald Trump Jr. I've had lunch with Bill Clinton. I've had lunch with Hillary Clinton. I never met the Biden.
Wait a minute, did you actually go out to lunch with them, or were you at a lunch with them?
I was with Hillary. It was just a few of us when she was running for Senate in New York.
Mm-hmm.
With Bill, it was at Hofstra University, and I was 2 tables away from him. With Donald Trump Jr., I was at his table. Who else?
Yeah, but meeting Donald Trump Jr. isn't exactly like meeting anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
And Donald Trump, it was just a handshake. He thanked me for coming down to apply to be on The Apprentice. It was at the Waldorf Astoria in New York.
Oh, I thought it was for your 25-cent donation to his campaign.
Keep Bill online in front of him.
Ah, boy. What a world we live in. We're even questioning this, you know? I mean, it'd just be nice if we had a better choice, you know? I would really like a real good race between 2 really intelligent people, you know? And we don't seem to be ever getting that anymore. That's why I would like, at the very least, to see Kamala running instead of Joe, so that we get somebody younger running. And she's no spring chicken, you know?
I'd like to get Joan Soda or Ellen Pay at a McDonald's, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, but do you remember how refreshing, if you think back, it was to have Obama as president?
Yeah.
I mean, it was refreshing.
If he could have just waited, you could have had Hillary come in, then Obama. You know.
Well, yeah, that was, a lot of people said that would have been the best possible thing of all worlds, but unfortunately, but Obama won, and he did. I think in his second term, he did a good job. Okay, you know, but it took time.
Yeah,
it took time. You know, so anyway.
Kamala Harris is only 59.
Kamala Harris only 59. That's pretty good. You know,
That's pretty old.
Quite frankly, I liked Obama's age for vitality for the job.
Yeah.
You know, it was the perfect age, 45. It was a good age.
Yeah, he was young.
And you have enough politics behind you that you can run for president. The only problem that Obama had was that he had only been a senator for like 2 years before he decided to run for president. And he really didn't know how the Senate worked. There was a thing, I saw a picture of him walking down the steps of the Senate building, and it said, how can he possibly know how to fight a system he hasn't even been part of for a while? You know, he was 2 years, and then he was running for president. So he had to learn while he earned. And it wasn't until his second...
President.
What?
He was the best president that I can remember.
I like
Who, Obama?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he restored dignity to that office. He was intelligent, but he wasn't overbearing. He could do politics, but he didn't seem political. I just liked him. I liked him.
Yeah. Alan?
So when Bill Clinton was running, speaking of somebody that had never been in other than a governor of a small state, when Ross Perot, when they were doing the debates, Ross Perot said, electing Bill Clinton is like taking a clerk from 7-Eleven and making them the CEO of Walmart. And look where Clinton went, and look where Ross Perot went. So
yeah.
Well, Perot did say that one thing that he hit on. Remember the sucking of the jobs with the NAFTA Act? He was right about that. Some of the stuff
One thing.
Perot said.
Did you speak English, Tony?
Yeah, I said when Ross Perot said the sucking of the jobs because of NAFTA, he was right about that. Did you understand me, Alan?
Yeah, we understood you.
I did.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think Ross Perot.
I didn't understand the word NAFTA.
I think Ross Perot was the biggest rip-off artist of all time.
Yeah.
You know?
Ross for boss.
What did you think?
Here's the deal.
What did you think, Josh?
Deal.
What was your opinion of Ross Perot?
I was not a fan. I mean, I just don't think that. Again, he's just another one of those people that is successful at something other than politics, so people just assume that he would naturally be successful at politics, and I have no idea why people have continually made that assumption for as long as I can remember.
And then one minute he was running, and the next minute he wasn't running, and the next minute he was running again. I mean, what was that all about?
Yeah, and he had a very strange person as his vice presidential pick, and I don't remember who the guy
Wasn't he like a guy from the Navy or something?
He was, I don't remember. And talk about old, he was very old. He's the guy that during the vice presidential debate said, "Could you repeat that? I didn't have my hearing aid on." I remember that. I mean,
Oh, God.
you know, it was a very, I mean, where we are, but
I gotta cut out Alex, my daughter. I gotta take her into the city. So
okay, Bree, are you? Where are you right now, Bree? Are you in?
I'm in KL.
You're where?
Yeah, I'm in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Okay.
I just got back from Bangkok a couple days ago, and I have to go back to Manila and Bangkok, a couple other places in the next month or two.
Bangkok?
Supposed to be in India this weekend, but I'm not going there.
Okay. Okay. See you later, Bree. Thanks for calling.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing the world we live in? He's in Kuala Lumpur,
Anywhere.
and he looks like he's next door.
Yeah, maybe Trump will pick a wild card for vice president. Mike Lindell, the guy that owns My Pillow.
Oh, God.
Jesse Ventura.
Jesse Ventura. There's another
Well,
wild.
you'd be better than Mike Lindell.
Yeah.
Well, I think, quite frankly, I think he's probably going to pick J.D. Vance, if you want my opinion. But,
Vance, the guy that's black? Is he the guy?
No, Vance is the guy who wrote Hillbilly Elegy.
But the other guy in the southern part of the country, he's a black man, right? A senator.
Wait a minute, I just got a laugh off of that. He did write Hillbilly Elegy. It was the name of the book he was known for.
Yeah.
The movie, that was a good movie.
Yeah, that was J.D. Vance.
Oh, okay.
It was all about his time growing up with Glenn Close, with his mother. And they were all hillbillies,
Yeah.
So.
Wow. They really weren't. I mean, he's from the exact same part of the country I'm from. It's not. Hillbilly is totally different than what he was. I mean,
but he tried to sell
he's
the
from
idea.
White trash. Okay, we'll just go.
He's
on
white trash.
Exactly. I mean, Appalachia and that shit is two totally different.
Yeah.
I mean, the town that I was born and live in is the foothills of Appalachia. He's from fucking Middletown. I mean, you drive 15 minutes from there, you're at Great American Ballpark, which is downtown Cincinnati. I mean, come on. It's,
Yeah.
Because your family was white trash doesn't mean they were hillbillies. I mean...
There's a big difference between white trash and hillbilly.
Yeah.
That's right. Hillbillies know how to make illegal liquor.
Yeah. and real fast cars.
And they're missing their 2 front teeth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You never see him trying to eat corn on the cob.
No.
I was surprised to hear that out of Bree, that he really liked Obama as much as he did. Because Bree doesn't usually would not. If you asked me how Bree might feel about Barack Obama, I would have said he didn't like him or something, and he really liked him. You know.
I think between him and Bill Clinton, they were our best presidents.
Well,
in my lifetime.
I think that in my lifetime, Obama was the most soothing. Okay, he was the one I felt most comfortable with, and I felt he had the best interests of the country at heart. And when he was through being president, boom, boom, that's it. I'm no longer president. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
What about Ike? What about Eisenhower?
Eisenhower, I have a great story about Eisenhower. My father played at the Republican Convention. I worked the Republican Convention, and he was working it as well, but he was a violinist. And what they did is they had a thing at the Republican Convention where they hired, how many letters in Eisenhower? E-I-S... is E-I-S-E-N...
9.
9? Okay.
I think it's 9 letters.
So they
9
had
or
9.
10.
They had 9 violinists, and they all had a letter on their back that spelled out Eisenhower. And one of the musicians looked over at my father and said, I don't know if we really like the idea of having a letter on our back spelling Eisenhower. He said, feel good about it. If they decided to spell Ike, 6 of us would be out of work. I was never a big Eisenhower fan. You know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he got. There's a good example of somebody who never was a senator, governor, congressman. He's a general. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was very popular because he had come out of World War II, and he was a very good general. Very good general. I mean, D-Day was his whole thing, you know. And he had a fairly good reputation because of that. But that didn't mean that he could run a country. Again, you know, the job of president...
I don't think he cared.
Huh?
I don't think he cared.
I think he did. Although I think he was kind of...
He was very calm.
Oh, well, I think he was kind of forced into it by the Republican Party, who was saying, "Oh, please run, you're our sure shot," you know. As we had FDR for 4 years, and then we had Truman for another, 2 years? Was it Truman? 4 years? How many years was Truman?
He was 7 years president.
He was wait a minute, but how many terms did he serve? He served, I think, 3 years after the death of FDR, and then maybe another, and then another 4 years. So he'd done 7 years. So they had gone for a long time with the Democrats being in power, and they really wanted to get somebody who was a Republican in power, and they went and got Eisenhower, and they kind of.
But Eisenhower did get reelected, though.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Even in spite of the fact that he had a heart attack and one other thing. What was the other thing, Josh? He had a heart attack and he had one other big problem.
He had an affair with his secretary or something.
Ooh.
Eisenhower?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Eisenhower, yeah.
Eisenhower did, and so did FDR.
Well, FDR, come on, you know.
Yeah. That wheelchair.
His mistress was with him when he died.
Yeah.
And then they had to get her out of. She was down at the hot springs. Where's that place where he used to have the place for kids with polio to go down and swim and so on and so forth? He died there. And they immediately moved her out fast because, Eleanor had to show up and claim the body. Yeah. But, by then they didn't have much of a marriage anyway. So.
She was quite a handsome young lady.
Hmm?
She was a handsome lady.
Who, Eleanor Roosevelt?
Yeah.
Oh, Donald Trump.
Maybe one of the most unattractive women in history.
Yeah.
That's why I said she was handsome.
Handsome, yeah. She had a good personality.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she was bright. You know, she was smart as a whip. And the kind of things she involved herself in after her husband died, I thought were exemplary. Am I right, Josh? She was a pretty good former first lady. You know?
She was a very intelligent woman, and they had a complicated marriage, as people are entitled to do. He had female companions, and she had
many female companions as well.
She had a relationship with a female member of the press for a very long time.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of time together. It was more than likely romantic. It was more than a friendship. So they had a complicated set up there, which, like I said, people are entitled to do, and another thing that has really nothing to do with serving as president of the United States, and
that's right.
Eisenhower had a pretty strong presidency. The problem is a lot of it isn't too recognized because it was pretty boring, because a lot of it was foreign policy related, but he did have a lot of good successes foreign policy wise, keeping the peace, after that he'd helped win, which was not an easy job for the first, decade or so after World War II. I mean, NATO was very fragile.
And he had the Korean War to deal with, didn't he?
Well, things like that, right? Yeah, that's the thing, is keeping another war from breaking out that was larger, and kind of making sure that the United States got to a point of good military standing for deterrence. That's kind of the time that we move toward deterrence and containment of enemies and things like that. Getting the nuclear programs, submarines, weapons, making the military larger, and not just because he'd been a military man, but because he truly believed, like I do, that deterrence, is what could keep another war from starting. So
well, as he was a general, and we find that most generals in reality hate war. And he was very much against it and did everything he could to prevent another one from happening.
Yeah, he didn't want
to. But he had the Korean War happen.
Well, it was already going before he became president.
Was it going before he became president?
Yeah. Truman authorized the first, bit there. So,
yeah.
But I mean, but they tried to keep it within their policy of containment, which was, basically just get the Koreans back in their box. I mean, we'd love to get more, but I think everyone understood that wasn't really going to happen. What America has tried to do rather successfully since then is contain people, and the times when they've sort of overstepped with that, it hasn't worked out very well, like Vietnam, for example. I mean,
don't forget it wasn't.
You could argue it wasn't successful in Korea. I get it. I mean, because we have two Koreas and the whole thing and all that.
Well, it was under Eisenhower also that we didn't that we had the House Un-American Activities Subcommittee and all those things going on, and the red channels and so on. And he didn't speak out against that.
Right. Which he didn't care for, but presidents aren't capable of controlling, everybody at all times. I mean, there are powerful politicians outside the president, and McCarthy was certainly one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had his enablers, like every other despot,
Yeah.
And,
hey.
And don't forget about the interstate highway. Eisenhower did that.
Yeah.
I'm saying they did a lot of boring.
And don't forget the national parks. That was Teddy Roosevelt. See how far back I go?
This is the first time I've heard the music.
That's right, because we solved the problem last night. Okay.
Right on.
Anyway, I want to thank everybody for being with us tonight on a rather auspicious evening in which every time the president now speaks anywhere, people want to see him to see if he can get out a coherent sentence. And since I can't, I cannot be president. Anyway, I want to thank Charlie for being with us tonight. Thank you, Charlie. Also, I should thank Bree, even though he's not here any longer. Let's also thank Alan for being here. Josh, 2 nights in a row. This has been wonderful. This has been terrific. Jeff, good having you here. Always very nice. Oh, by the way, Ray, you should call more often.
Okay, thank you.
We enjoy your presence. And, of course, Tony, who was a good boy tonight. Right? Okay. Yeah. Everybody give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye as well. There they go, folks. That's the citizen panel for tonight. We'll have another citizen panel again tomorrow night, right here. Next, it's Amy Manuel. She's here with the Intersection. She'll be taking your calls on Skype at Gabnet Live. I will see you tomorrow night, same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.